Okay, all right, meeting's called to order. Welcome, everyone. Are there any other extra participants from the public? I can't see everybody.
Not that they've tried to join, or not
Okay.
yet anyway.
Okay. Correspondence and press was emailed to the board in your packet. So we'll go to department reports. Gwen?
So I just want to start off and say that last Saturday we had a really great experience at the trunk or treat at Moreau Rec Park. Jen Boyer, Raquel Bello from Children's, the three of us were there, and Jen's cousin, and we had a blast handing out candy and library information to all the kids. It was a very successful program that they had running. It was absolutely packed. So we can't wait for next year.
Well, and Gwen, if I could add, I believe you had at least 400 flyers and they all went out.
Yes.
So
we handed out every bookmark and every postcard with Carrie and Michelle did a great job. They had one with general library information and then one with all of our e-resources. So it talked about all the different things you can do online. So that was really, really great to get rid of all the paper too. And then today, Kathy and I had our second meeting with John Huggins, who is the project coordinator for the Creating Healthy School and Communities grant, which is funded through Glens Falls Hospital. We've been meeting with him to discuss having a produce refrigerator here for the public in the library. So we're starting to move forward on that. We have a draft of a memorandum of understanding, which we will present to the board at the next meeting. And then we're going to start working on getting some policies and procedures in place. We will be coordinating with the Comfort Food community with their farm to library program for supplying the food. So really excited for that. Second phase of that, looking out, they do have some money that they can potentially help us with our seed library. So that's pretty exciting. And they can also do some stuff for employee wellness. So it's a really interesting grant that they have to help the community and help the library achieve health and wellness goals.
Good. Okay, thank you. Jen?
Hello. So I feel like we've been running at about 1,000,000 miles an hour, but we're finally catching up, I think. As Gwen said, we had a great time at Trunk or Treat. We're really looking forward to the hometown holidays, having that again this year. We're preparing a take-home craft for adults that they can make a balsam sachet. And so we're going to have printed instructions. We're going to shoot a video instructing people on how to do it. And we're all just totally invested in it and having a great time with it. So we're very much looking forward to having hometown holidays again. We had great reception and feedback from the King Arthur Flour baking program that we had. So we're going to try that again in December as well. And do look forward to signing up. If you're interested, we're going to be making some cookies this time. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you're interested in signing up. And we're looking forward to partnering with the Children's Department next spring. And we're planning on getting a grant with the Tuba Foundation. Michelle is working on that for some bird watching kits. So we're very much looking forward to organizing that and working with Children's to bring that to the communities.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Julia.
Hi, so a few updates on our children's programs. As Gwen said, we did Trunk or Treat last week, which was a big success. We also hosted a virtual program with Turtle Dance Music, which is a presenter out of Baltimore who was supposed to come to the library this summer, but wasn't able to because he got COVID. But his virtual program was amazing. It was highly interactive. If you see the video pop up on Facebook, I would suggest you watch it because the kids had a great time. And we even had 2 classes from Harrison Elementary in South Glens Falls attend as a class, and they all really enjoyed it and are looking forward to other events like that. And now we're kind of making our shift to winter programming. So we're trying to work on some outdoor things that we can still do even as the weather gets cold, and some more virtual events and some take-home things. So be on the lookout for announcements of those.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Michelle was unable to join us due to sort of an emergency at home. Nothing bad, but can't be here. So she asked me to share her report. So I'm just going to read as presented. The Henry Crandall Award was very well received. The chamber was really, really honored, and guests seemed to have a very good time. The program went smoothly. We do recognize that there were some holes in the service that the Q was giving us. We're working on informing them of where they need to boost attention. And we were kind of happy that it ended by 8:30, so people had plenty of time to get to work. Only 4 people that were confirmed as guests didn't show up, and some unexpected guests such as Betty Little did show, which was wonderful. And there was one empty table you may have noticed, and it was just the group that had been theoretically assigned to that table never fully got back to Michelle about attendance, so I guess they didn't come. But they still supported us financially, so that was nice. And she's still working on the final details of the financials, and that will be reported out next month.
Okay. I think, you know, all things considered and all the obstacles we just couldn't get past to hold a big gala. I think we did a good job from my perspective, making it a breakfast and honoring the chamber. And yeah, they seemed happy. So that's good. Okay, Todd?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
We've been working on dipping our toes back into public programming. We were able to work with Dan Hubbs, a librarian here at the library, who's also a musician and a poet. We were able to leverage a Alfred Z. Solomon grant for him to publish a book of poetry, to have a little video made about what his background is and why is he doing this. And then also do a series of live concerts at different venues in the 4 counties that we serve. And so I'm happy to report, I just sent a report into the Solomon Foundation, basically saying, hey, the book is out. It's called Downtown Super Tells All. That's available, and we're distributing it and also selling it at the concerts. There's a short video about him called Portraits, Dan Hubbs Behind the Scenes. It's a 10-minute video that talks about why he got into music and poetry and why the particular book, and then takes us into one of the rehearsal sessions at his home with his other musicians who are part of the tour. And then we've gone to 2 of the 4 venues already. In October the 3rd, we were at Argyle Brewing Company at the train depot in Cambridge in Washington County. And we had about 35 people there, which was great. That's pretty full for that space. October 15th, they were just up at Great Camp Sagamore in Racket Lake. And they played for about 40 volunteers who are helping close the camp up that weekend. And then we have a big event at Cafe Lena, and Lena has allowed us to make it a free event, and we're going to have them live stream it also. And then Kevin and I will also be on hand to do a 3-camera shoot that we will then edit and put on our YouTube channel. That's November 13th. It's in the afternoon. Yeah, I think you go to their site and there's you sign up even though it's free. You gotta have.
Okay.
And then hometown holiday kickoff on December 3rd. Dan and his band, they're going to play at 3 o'clock in the new book area to help kick off that weekend of, you know, the market out in City Park and the lighting of the tree and the presentation of Santa Claus. So
Good.
that's all coming together. Yeah, that's very, very fun. So that's been happening. Kathy and I, on a different note, have been interviewing candidates for the new manager of research and special collections in the Folklife Center. We've had some really good applications, about 20. We narrowed it down between us to 6 that were Zoom interviewing. And, you know, it's been a good process so far. We still have a few interviews to do next week. And the goal is to try to have them at least in place or picked out before the end of the year. You know, they have to give notice and all that.
Good.
And then tomorrow is a big day for us. We've taken over the community room because there's a tractor trailer truck coming back from Canton, New York, full of our folk art collection. We got about 150 items coming back. We're using the community room as a staging area to break it all down and put it back in its right boxes and things like that. And then finally, we got asked, we put out a request for a proposal to the Champlain Valley Heritage Network on a project we're thinking about for next year. It's the 200th anniversary of the Champlain Canal system. So we have a proposal out to do a video series, much like the Battenkill one and the Lake George one, called Champlain Canal Stories. And we floated that idea to these guys because they get a National Park Service grant. And good news the other day, they said, we're really excited about this possibility and we want you to submit a full proposal that's due in January. And so that would help, you know, produce that series. We're thinking about, you know, putting some content out, local content out on YouTube and on kiosks and things. And then we're also, a local foundation, that Solomon Foundation, the charitable trust, Alfred Z. Solomon, they're also interested in the project. So we can, like we always do, match up different grants to pay for different aspects of the project. So that's some exciting news for next year. That's what I have. Thanks.
Thank you. And Jay is going to talk to us. Kathy. Hello?
Hello, everybody.
There you are.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on where we are with the roof project. As you guys know, we had Ambient Environmental come in and do some testing for us on the mold, lead, and asbestos. And did the assessments on that, and they found less than 1 square foot of mold visible in the building in the 10 different spots that we had tested, which is good. The only areas that they possibly will be concerned about is up between the roof deck and the ceiling, but we can't do anything with that until we're ready to remove the ceiling and repair all of that stuff. And they said that that shouldn't be any issues until probably next summer-ish when we're ready to do that. That was the mold. The next one was the lead. They did find some traces of lead in the walls. It was not a significant amount. And basically what they said was, basically with it being such an old building, what normally happens is it gets painted over, and as long as it's not disrupted in any way, there's no issues. So with that being said, most likely we will just paint over and take care of that when we do the inside work. So that shouldn't be an issue with any of that. So
But
next,
Jeremy, I will add that we have mitigated any loose debris falling in the places that the plaster had possibly exposed the lead paint by putting plastic sheeting up and a plastic curtain, so to speak, by the old marble stair. So you did that good work, and that is according to what we can see with ambient, that's sufficient mitigation at this point until the roof is fixed.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so that was their advice to us, was basically to eliminate anything else falling, like especially on the stairs in the walkway or the stairwell of Park Street, is to basically barricade it so that way that doesn't cause any problems for us later on. And from the way things are looking, it's not going to be something that we're going to be able to repair even in the next 6 months with some of the issues we're having with the roof materials. So I'll get to that in a minute. So the next thing was the asbestos. Good news is we have no asbestos in the building that they found.
Excellent.
The bad news is they found asbestos on the roof.
Oh.
So on the 2 chimneys that are going to get work done, they had found that at some point over the years, somebody had put some type of a tar sealer on the top cap of them, of each chimney, that has asbestos in it. So that will have to be removed before we can do any work to the chimneys. It's not anything that's harmful to us right now. The good part is in the plans of this project, the cap of the chimneys are coming off and getting new caps put on. So it's not like it's disrupting anything that isn't already going to be disrupted. So that's a good thing. We just sat down a couple weeks ago and had a kickoff meeting with Midstate and our architect and started talking about what's the next step that they're foreseeing. They would like to move forward with doing the chimney work this year. Due to the materials that are not available right now, they're projecting that they're not going to be able to get to roof work until May or June. Unfortunately, there's not, our hands are kind of tied at that, and we're kind of at their mercy until they can get the materials. He said that if something changes over the winter and they can get the materials, obviously they'll start sooner. But it looks like late spring, early summer, they may be working on that project of repairing the roof. Now, they did say that they will come up and do any patches or Band-Aids, if you will, for any areas that we ask them, to address. And along with that, we did also get a quote from the Midstate for the chimney abatement of the asbestos tar on those. That's looking like, and I've only got this as a verbal, I've not gotten a written yet, of about $8,000 to remove that asbestos. So that'll be put in as a change order, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that's going to be coming.
And I'll add that as an action item when we get to that part of the agenda.
Okay. Were they gonna work on the chimney even before the roof, or
Yes.
waiting for the roof?
So the process would be, no matter what the case is the chimneys first and then the roof, because they don't want to take a chance. They're taking the top concrete off the top, and 6 feet down, the bricks are coming off and getting replaced. They don't want to take a chance of having any of that break and fall off and ruin the new roof. So
Right.
they would definitely wait till the brick is done and the chimneys are complete before they start the roof.
So does that have to wait till May or June, or
No.
will it? And yeah,
They're still, and I got a call today, about an hour and a half ago, and talked to Steve, our architect. He said they still do want to try and get this done before the end of the year,
okay.
because they can work in not so great weather doing that by building basically a tent around the chimneys and putting some heat in there for their guys. So that's still a good option for them.
And I will also add that we also discussed hiring a clerk of the works at the meeting we had with Steve and the contractor. They're good with that. We have reached out. Well, I should say Jeremy's reached out multiple times for a callback. Haven't heard anything. I have Tom O'Neill, the local developer, looking, he has a couple of prospects for us that may be available. So we have not forgotten that part of the project. We're just trying to get somebody.
Okay.
I had one question for Jeremy. How's the lighting, the hours the lights are on? Is that all set and done?
Yes, that's been fixed and we have no issues moving forward with that.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions about the roof, the tree, all that good stuff, or anything else?
That's it. I was hoping to have better news for everybody, but unfortunately, it's going to be a long process, I think.
I think we're starting to get that idea, but a lot of, not just roofs and not just library related. I don't know about everything. Order your Christmas presents tomorrow, right? Okay, thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Do we have Friends represented?
No, they had nothing to report
Right.
today.
Okay. So next on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the September meeting. The minutes were all emailed to all of you in the folder. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second? Someone second that motion?
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the minutes passed. Treasurer's report. Did John check in?
I did.
Yay.
So you have the treasurer's report, or it was emailed to you. On the revenue side, revenues, we are at $4,165,914, which is 84.9% of our budgeted revenues. And we're at about 75%, or we are at 75% of the budget year. All of the line items are coming in below what was budgeted, except or still below what was budgeted, except for the Glens Falls National Investments, which we mentioned previously. We would be doing budget modifications for the next couple of months because our investments are doing better than we thought they were going to do. So that's that. On the expenditure side, we are at $3,221,267, which is 67% of what we budgeted as far as revenue is concerned. We do have a budget amendment for the expenditures. There was an additional $388.15. That's under telephone. That's actually for the Wi-Fi that was used outside for the outdoor programs this summer. When we budgeted, we certainly didn't anticipate having to do all our programs outside. So that $388 is because of using the Wi-Fi outside for all of our programs this summer. So we're recommending two budget modifications. The additional monies from the Glens Falls National Investments to go into contingency, and to basically take $2,100 out of travel and put it into telephone. We have not used all that travel money, so we can use that for the telephone bill for the rest of the year.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, could we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report, please?
So moved.
A second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Claims auditor reports.
As is traditional, there were no discrepancies in any of the claims. So it was a clean audit.
Okay.
Good.
Motion to approve those. Please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Any committee reports? That I don't see anything listed here.
No.
Anything from Sal's? No, no meeting.
Oh, they had, I did attend the SALS meeting, sorry, and I did report out to the SALS board exactly what we provide the SALS libraries as central library, much to what I, described to the past to you. It was well received, and I believe SALS is working on the final throes of their next budget year, but there wasn't a lot to report out.
Okay, thank you. And now we come to director's report.
Okay, certainly got what I emailed to you. I will add that keeping with the building theme, that I will report out next week about 6 months into changing our energy supplier, as was suggested. I think we'll find the news is good. Preliminary news certainly is. I met with Greta Hochsprung this morning from the Post-Star to talk about our budget for the vote next week. Remember, go out early and often to vote. So she thinks the article will run either Friday or Saturday. And she is not sure if they are going to do any kind of editorial support for the library like they do some years. And I asked directly, was that a reflection on thoughts about the library? And it's more about how much they can actually do with a ever decreasing staff. I was unaware they have only 1.5 reporters on staff right now, which
Yep.
I was astounded to find out. Those of you on the employee handbook committee, the personnel committee, will be getting an electronic version of it either by the end of this week or very early next week. Thank you, Amy, for going through the legal end of it. And thanks to Melissa for reworking and just doing it for us. We've kind of dotted the I's, crossed the T's on the administrative end of it. I am hoping that it will be ratified by the personnel committee and presented formally at the next board meeting on the 17th. The strategic plan, I know we're all sitting on the edge of our seats for that. We have 2 priorities that we're going to focus on and break down into many goals and objectives and timelines. And the 2 strategic priorities are access in all its many forms and promotion in all those many forms. And not just promotion of services or how to or anything, but it's also a larger picture of promoting equity, equality, the whole bit. It all fell out very nicely to go under these categories. Those of you on the ad hoc committee should be getting the draft. I do this with my fingers crossed midday Friday. Things do crop up, however. And that is my verbal report. And the action items themselves are pretty straightforward. Did anyone have comments about the board meeting date schedule next year, time, day, anything like that? Basically sticking to our same schedule. Hopefully they will all be in person in our community room. And the other was our, holiday closing schedule. This is, just standard moving this year's dates to, next year. And I would just add the final two things, board approval to stay open till 8 p.m. on Friday, December 3rd for the hometown holidays. We, would certainly, have staffing that evening. And also to have permission to accept the roofing project change order of $8,000 for chimney asbestos abatement. And that's what I've got.
Okay. So there's a lot of various things in there. Any questions from anyone? Please note on the holidays and closings, by the way, that doesn't mean that they are designated if they're non-paid holidays. We're not changing anything, I believe, in the amount of paid.
Correct. Correct.
Yes. Okay. Sometimes the library is closed and it is not a paid holiday, but it is yeah. Anyone have any questions? So we're asked to approve the holiday closings, the board meeting schedule, the $8,000.
Why don't we do one at a time, Barb?
I'm sorry, what?
Why don't we do one at a time?
One at a time?
Yeah, and then we'll knock it off in a minute or so.
As far as discussion?
No, voting on it. Don't we have to vote on it, Kathy?
We have to
Yeah,
vote
you
on
can vote as a whole for all.
it.
All right.
or
So
three.
moved.
Reed wants to vote, has made the motion to accept these. Second, Dale. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone. That was quick.
I have one thing on new business, Barb.
Okay, nothing on old, new business. Go ahead.
When we had our ad hoc committee, I'm going to share this with the rest of the board members. The thing that came out to me that I realized we should kind of ask the, how can I say, I can't think of the committee that does with hiring. Diversity. We're not a very diverse library. And that we should, I know there's things, but we should be really trying to get our workforce diverse a little bit more than it is. We're probably not that, and even though it's tough in our upstate rural community, but we should really try to focus on some diversity in our workforce. I don't think we really have done a good job on that, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, I personally think that it is definitely in the minds and the intention is there. But again, it's not easy in a population that is not tremendously diverse. Everybody.
I just thought I'd bring it up because I realized that that's an issue that we should be conscious of.
And I'm sure, well, Kathy, you can certainly speak for yourself, but certainly everything from the national, state, whatever, all the literature, all the training, everything, the emphasis is there. We know that as board members, we know from what we read and see, and I'm sure the library staff. Kathy, you want to speak for yourself, certainly.
I have nothing to say other than, of course, we intend to be inclusive and we evaluate applicants on all points.
Yep. Okay. And thank you for the reminder, Reed. Anything else? Don't please do make note once again that the November meeting is quite much earlier than you expect it to be. November 17th, so it's completely over before Thanksgiving.
And that's our last meeting of the year, correct?
Yes,
Technically, because
If
the
we
last
Move it to
Yeah.
January.
occurs in the calendar year. The December meeting happens in January, basically. Yes. Okay.
I will say though, Barb, for next year, the way the calendar dates fell, we were able to put the November date after Thanksgiving and still have time. So next
Yeah.
year, it'll be a little more in a regular cycle.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, could I have a
Make a
motion?
motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming, however you came.
Welcome.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
Hopefully next month in the community room. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.